where we're going to show you a little bit of what's going on here. So in this new series, The Road to Imaging USA, we're going to be showing you a little bit about headquarters, what's happening, people who work here, and of course we're going to be talking with our amazing speakers so they can tell you a little bit more about what you should expect at Imaging USA. So let's walk a little bit. So here at PPA, this is kind of a new space for us. We've been in here for just a few years. We are on the 22nd floor, downtown Atlanta, and it's an amazing, amazing space. We're going to walk down here to our corner offices. This one is called the family room, and we've made all of our spaces collaboration areas. In fact, here's our events department now, getting ready for imaging. Hi, guys.
Hey!
What are you guys working on?
Oh, just all the things.
So many things,
We're
so many
working on
things.
the convention center space and where everything's going to be going.
Awesome. So they are doing all the room and arrangements where all the classes are going to go, all the parties are going to go. This is also our red shirt boutique. So this is where our staff is coming to try on their red shirts in preparation for Imaging USA. So when you see someone in that red shirt while you're at the show, please come up and introduce yourself. We love to meet you guys. So we really want to experience that with you. So feel free to introduce yourselves. We love that. So now we're just going to walk down this hallway. We're going to pass by our customer care team. Hi, customer care team. They are absolutely remarkable. For anyone who's called in, you guys know that they are really fantastic. So if you have any questions at all about Imaging USA, please feel free to give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. Now, not too many people know this, but PPA, we are only 46 people serving 35,000 members. And you're probably thinking, well, how do we do that? Because we have an absolutely remarkable team, really, really, really talented group of people. So much so that we actually have it on the wall. So we have our world's greatest association staff because we really do believe we have the most amazing group of people. Well, actually, I'm going to introduce you to a couple that are coming by. We missed them as they were going by their offices a little bit earlier. This is Ricky and Nakai. Ricky is our member experience manager, and Nakai is one of our customer care professionals. Thanks. Hi. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, so working on a new campaign that we just started
Awesome.
in October. So just getting the team up to speed and start to reach out to members.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Well, it's good to see you
Good to see
on
you.
our little tour. So now we're going to head over to our sales department. For those of you who are exhibitors, maybe you will recognize some of these people. So here we've got Kalia. Kalia's working hard in her office, so we won't disturb her. But we'll say hi to Francine. Hi, Francine. What's going on in your part of the world?
Just booking booths.
Just booking booths.
Show floor.
Nice.
The booths in red are taken or contracted, so we're excited. We're also working on sponsorship opportunities for the exhibitors. So
Nice.
to make this such a fun
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You guys may not have been able to hear her because I have the microphone, but she said we're going to make this a really fun and educational show. So, and most of our booths are up, so we're really excited about that. So here what we have is the garage, and the garage is where we held all of our staff meetings and events. In fact, October 26th, Sean Lee will be here for the Rock That conference. So if you want more information about that, we'll put that in the show notes so that you can learn a little bit more about that if you're interested in coming to headquarters to learn more about photography. And of course, our home would not be complete without the kitchen. We have a little joke here at PPA that for those people who are starting new, you might just gain an extra 10 pounds because we really like to eat. And of course, we have the pinball machines that are on loan to us right now, just for a little extra fun. All right, guys, so let's come on back in here, and we are gonna sit in the solarium and talk to Gary Hughes. Gary, how are you?
Oh man, I was wondering whether or not you were wearing heels today because you were doing so much backwards walking, and I was sitting here going like, please don't trip, Angela. And you did. That was a wonderful tour. The offices are so
thanks.
cool there. Yeah. I've had the privilege of going to the offices a few times, and it makes me sad about my office because how nice PPA's office is.
Oh, we love it. We love it here. It's been a couple years since we did the renovation, but it was really fun to be part of that project, just because it made it feel more like home. I love our collaboration spaces. In fact, we're sitting in one right now. It's just so great for
Yeah,
large people
you
to.
just switched cameras on me, and
I
it's great.
did, and now I realize that I can't hear you, so I'm going to leave one in.
Okay.
Thank you so much for agreeing to be part of this show. This first time ever talking about Imaging USA. And you have been involved with PPA for a long time. And I feel like whenever I talk to you, you have such good advice and support for people wanting to get involved.
Yeah, I get my first Imaging USA that I signed up for was 2008. I was a brand new member, and I ended up not going. Like you know how you get that like free year?
Yes.
Yeah, and it was in Tampa, I think, which is literally 90 minutes down the road from where I am in Orlando. And I ended up not going because a bunch of family came into town at the last minute. And then the next one I went to was Nashville. So I had to like get on a plane and go to that one because ended up going. So my first actual year was 2009, and I think I've missed one Imaging USA since 2009, and that's because we had a baby, and that was it. That was the only yeah, like I went to Imaging USA one time, and Rich Newell called me a week before, and my wife had just given birth, and he's like, "We had 2 speakers drop out. Can you cover those classes?" I looked at my wife, and she was like, "I don't know." So I ended up going when my daughter was like nine days old, and then went for like one day and came right back. And so yeah, I always go if I could possibly be there. I go. I even went to the virtual one when we didn't have an in-person Imaging USA for COVID, and just a big believer and supporter in Imaging USA.
We appreciate that so much. One of my favorite stories you told me was the time that you were volunteering and you literally had to leave the stage for
Yes.
to go do your
this is a pro tip for anybody new to Imaging USA. This is the thing that I think that people are photographers. We're solopreneurs largely, right? We're like individual people. Like I spend most of my day in my office by myself. When a client comes in, I'm talking their ear off. They're like, "You're by yourself a lot, aren't you?" Yes, I am by myself all the time. And so it could be really intimidating to go to a conference where there's 10,000 people. I won't know anybody. And the thing is, within like a year or two, it's a family reunion. But one of the best ways that we found, my wife, who's my business partner, and I, we went in 2009, and we decided that as our first year going, we were going to volunteer back when the red shirts were orange shirts. And I still have an orange shirt in my closet, by the way. And it was the first time you go, every single class is a magic show. It's literally like watching Chris Blaine, or what's his name, whatever, David Blaine. I don't know. I was going to say David Copperfield, and then I thought, would that age me if I said maybe David Copperfield? And so what, like the people that there's the staff at Imaging USA who are incredible, but a good number of those volunteers in the shirts are those people in the shirts are volunteers, right? And that blows my mind. And we volunteered for 8 years in a row. And my first year I ever got to speak at Imaging USA was Phoenix in 2014. And I was still a volunteer and a platform speaker. And so as soon as I was done speaking, I had to get off the stage and go put on an orange shirt and then go for a volunteer shift. Like that was how much we are involved there at Imaging USA. But I have to say, if you're worried about you're not going to know anybody, 1 year volunteering and you're going to have friends for life. And there are volunteers that have been doing it for like 15, 16, 18, 20 years. They show up every year, put that orange shirt on, and spend a lot of time at Imaging USA telling people where the bathroom is.
Truly. I feel like a lot of our volunteers are the most remarkable photographers. They're often some of the most awarded.
Yes, absolutely.
And have great businesses. They're just people you can pick their brains and learn from.
Yeah.
So we value and appreciate that so much, that they come and give so much of their time.
I might get in trouble for saying it, but the best education at PPA is, I don't even think, and not that it's not good, but it's not from the platform. You know what I mean? Like the you are going to learn a lot from the platform, but a lot of it is like a fire hose of information in your face for 3 days.
Yeah.
But it's the little kind of hallway and bar conversations that you have. You'll meet some random photographer from like Bozeman, Montana, who's killing it, and they'll have that one thing that you need to know that transforms your business, and you'll just learn something transformative over a cocktail. I've had hundreds, if not thousands, of conversations like that at every single Imaging USA, and I learn more just at the bar and at the networking events and at the parties and just random conversations.
Truly.
It's just such an incredible way to connect. And the cool part about it is, if you're worried about going and being there by yourself, you got to understand that you're going to a conference where you have something in common with literally everyone there. It's like a killer opener. You're not going to Disneyland and you're just a bunch of randos. You're there with a bunch of people who are all trying to do the same thing as you, which is
Truly.
make a living in photography.
Yeah, I feel like I had a moment the other day where I realized one of the amazing things about Imaging USA is because it helps you see yourself differently.
Right.
Does that make
Yes.
sense? Like all of a
Oh
sudden
my God, yeah.
you're feeling more professional because you're walking around with professionals. I don't know, you're being seen by colleagues and peers in a whole different way. What do you
Yeah.
think?
I think one of the things is when you're around a bunch of people and you realize that you're not the only one, and that you have that you have the same struggles, and that you have the same problems, and you're like, there's a lot of imposter syndrome in a creative business. You know, there's a lot of like self-doubt, and then you're sitting there talking to somebody, you're like, oh man, it's just being the comfort of just being with people, and you realize that you're not nearly as isolated as you thought you were. And not only that, like, you get to see people that are way ahead of you in life, but you also get to see people that are behind you, which makes you feel a little bit better. like you see somebody taking a picture and you're like, well, at least I don't hold my lens overhand like this. At least I've got that down, you know?
You know, when we were talking about this conversation, you were making a joke about all the ways to go and not have fun at Imaging USA.
Oh, yes. Yes. There are many ways to ruin Imaging USA for yourself.
Can you share a few of those?
Well, I think, okay, so first and foremost, probably the thing that I've seen the most as a volunteer, when you're a volunteer, you're basically invisible, right? So you hear people like muttering and grumbling and talking to each other. You hear people being excited about stuff. And I've seen this so many times. I was in a program, it was a wedding program with DQ Photography, and this was 8 years ago. And they opened up and they started talking about like a little bit of the history of their business. And they started talking about how they got together. And it was probably a little longer than it should have been. It was about 15, 20 minutes of this. And then he goes in to start talking about like how he creates images. And so he was showing image by image all the bad images that he took, all the way up to the shot that he got, which was incredible. And right as he was getting to the point, someone walked out and be like, I can't believe I paid for this. And then literally it became one of the best programs I've ever seen 30 seconds later. And the rest of it was just all the way to the end. So like, we have this very much like single serving, short content, you know, like unable to focus mentality a lot of times. And I think that every single program has something to offer. And I sat in a wedding program and was totally inspired. And I haven't shot a wedding in years and years. I would say that a big mistake people make is bringing the wrong shoes. Super practical, right? But like, you're gonna walk so stinking much that just wear comfortable shoes. It's amazing how much your feet not hurting can improve your mood. I think that the other thing is trying to get too much into one. It can be overwhelming, and there's a plethora of programs and genres and opportunities. And so like, I tend to get to the place where I've done this so many times. You bring a notebook, you go to every class you go to, and you fill up the notebook with hundreds of pages of notes, and then you go home and you never look at that notebook ever again. And that is most of us. So what I really do is I try to evaluate what I am thirsting for the most in my business. Like, what do I need? Am I struggling with pricing and marketing? Am I struggling with creativity? Do I feel in a creative slump, but my business is making money? You know, do I feel like I want to branch into a new genre of photography? And I really laser focus on the one thing that I need the most, because if you try to like scattershot too many things, if you try to like cast too wide a net, I feel like you won't remember anything. So prioritizing what you're there for, specifically on the educational side, I think is critical in actually retaining and getting value out of it. So if you just kind of like wander from room to room waiting for a good program, I think
Right.
you're just as likely to leave disappointed. Pick what you want to go there for, what you need the most. Sometimes it's camera technique, sometimes it's marketing and business, and then laser focus on that thing, and that leaves you with the ability to change that every year, where you may make those adjustments, and now your marketing is really good and your business is picking up steam, and you're like, okay, now I'd really like to see what I can do to sort of make my work better. And then you can go to those other programs and you can go see like Ben Shirk or Sandra Pearce or somebody who's really going to blow you away with their art, or Tim Walden or Greg Daniel. There are tons of people that will inspire you artistically. And so that's the big piece of advice. Don't try to do too much. And then I think that the other thing that you could do, this is me because I'm guilty of this, because I'm like sit in the back of the class and make fun of people and throw stuff, is to not go to the events. And it's very, very easy to say, we don't need to do that. Let's go over here. Especially if you are new, go to all the things. Go to the opening night party. Go to the new member networking reception. Go to the networking alley, which is honestly one of the best things at Imaging USA. There are so many amazing events to keep you engaged while you're there. If it just go do the things. I know that scientifically speaking, it is 100% easier not to do a thing than it is to do a thing. Doing things is 100% harder than not doing things. So I would say do all the things. Just commit to be there, to wear the t-shirt, to go to all the touristy spots. You're going to go to the Tower of London and you're going to go to see the Eiffel Tower. You do the expected thing, and you will just get so loved on and feel so a part of the group. And incidentally,
for sure,
those are great events, every single one of them. And a lot of people put a lot of effort into making them amazing.
I'm really excited. I'm going to take this out for just a second. I'm really excited about Networking Avenue because all of our speakers come to that. And we talk to every single speaker, ask them to come to be part of it. We have different tables with topics so that people are going to be coming. They're going to stand in their topic. You can go up to them. You can talk to them. You can meet them. We're going to have shooting bays for that as well. I mean, it's an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. But the whole point of the Networking Avenue, more than all of that, was to just create an opportunity for people to come in together before you go to the opening night party. It's so hard to go to a party by yourself. But if you go to the Networking Avenue, meet a new friend, then you can head over to the opening night party at the Omni, and it's going to be really, really amazing.
I love this concept because this comes really from the corporate world, this networking alley concept. And so because we're solo business owners, a lot of us, or maybe we work with a partner or with a spouse or something, but it's a very small team or a team of one usually. We tend to get a lot of our education and social interaction online. And that's not a bad thing. That's an incredible resource that it's the greatest time to be alive. If you want to know how to use rear curtain sync or change the headlight on a 96 Honda Civic, you've got the resources to find that and learn that and watch an expert do it. But the networking alley is like an answer to the thing that's missing from your life, which is those sort of what they call in the corporate world hallway conversations, those water cooler moments, you know, whereas you could go there and spend a lot of, just like I was kind of talking about before, it's like talking to someone who's really in it. And so there's going to be a table for like headshot photography and senior portrait photographers and in-person sales or whatever the topics are. And you can literally just go, I need that. And then you walk over there and you can ask your questions there are so many experts and incredible people and former Imaging USA speakers who maybe just aren't speaking that year. And people who are incredible resources of practical information. And you just get to walk up and be like, I need help.
Truly. That's so true.
And here's the thing. If someone's standing at that table, they're dying to help you. It is as big as the event is, it's such an incredible community. I'm telling you, it's like, in a very short amount of time, you have family. There's a couple that Julie and I met our first year, and we literally like grabbed onto each other because they were new and we were new. and we still talk to them. And that was
That's
2009. You know,
Yeah.
there are people that we volunteered with that year that we still talk to and are friends with. And over the years, primarily because of
Yeah.
Imaging USA, we could go almost anywhere in the country and have somebody to stop in and have dinner with, because our photography family has grown of like IRL photography friends. And it's just
I love it.
I can't say enough about it. Like, I really gotta say, to me, and I know, like, look, don't hate me because you're the director of education and I know that's important, but like, the classes are the thing that I go for that's like fifth down on the list. Everything else about it, it's just family, education, fellowship, support, you know.
Building relationship.
It's
Huge.
yeah, and it's really something special, and and as I think, as long as I can get on a plane and go there, I'm going to go. So I
I think
wouldn't.
you said it earlier. It can be really lonely to be an entrepreneur, right? And so I think you have to have a team of people who get you, right? And
Yes.
who better than other entrepreneurs?
Yeah, and we haven't even touched on the trade show. When I saw that trade show map is nearly full,
I know.
like
It's gonna
that.
be amazing.
That's going to be a healthy trade show. It's a big, fat, healthy trade show. It's
We've
gonna
got some good surprises for you
Oh,
guys this
man.
year. I can't give anything away, but
Yeah,
yeah.
we don't want you. It's a surprise, but there's incredible, like, if you are what I love, the tangible things in the trade show, like the things that you can buy and leave with, or buy and have shipped to you. And there are certain things that I buy only there because the discounts are always the best. You know, I know that, you got companies like PhotoBiz and 17 Hats, and they always run incredible trade show specials on software. There's companies basically giving away backgrounds. They give you such good discounts. Like, so it's the time of year to really like restock your stuff if you need it. And you get to touch it. So I buy everything from like Amazon and Adorama. I'm huge in buying online, but like, to get to touch it, like, I love touching it.
Yeah.
You get to see all the new cameras that you can't afford. It's fantastic. The trade show is amazing. And then we've got like the IPC happening this year, which is new, which I'm really
That's
excited
new.
about.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be a whole new level. It's going to be like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire live. And yeah, I seriously,
That's awesome.
January cannot come fast enough as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, we're gonna have a whole episode dedicated to nothing but the new photographic competition.
Yeah, the International Photographic Competition.
So
But
tell me-
if you go just for the expo, I think I want to talk to the expo people, like, because this is we have about half the people just go to the expo. Is that about accurate? Yeah.
probably.
Like, expo people, one day I would love for you to just, I want to get my arms around you, expo people. I want you to come on in and join us in all the other stuff.
That's
because the
awesome.
expo is amazing, but it's like it's like one shovelful of the giant pile of awesome that is Imaging USA. And it's going to be fantastic. It usually is. And anytime there's an event that big, you run the risk of sort of getting lost in the shuffle. So again, I would just say, do the things and you won't get lost. And if you feel lost, the red shirts are always there, which is, we have the most organized group of dedicated people that make sure you know where everything is. I think it, and you'll never,
That's true.
it's in fact, what happens is, it's like the opposite. You know how you go into Home Depot and every time you turn around, like an orange apron just flies by in a blur and you can't catch them? Like, Imaging USA volunteers are like the opposite of Home Depot employees. They actually come to you and ask you what you need. I'm sorry, I hope Home Depot isn't sponsoring the trade show.
Not sponsored by Home Depot.
Or maybe it's just the Home Depot by my house. Maybe some of you have that experience at Lowe's, but you won't have that experience at Imaging USA. It's the hardest place to get lost in the shuffle. It really is. You got to go out of your way to not meet anybody and have a good time. You got to be really staying up in your room, watching Netflix, to not meet anybody cool.
Well, so Gary, tell us about your program at Imaging. What are you bringing us?
I didn't know I was allowed to self-promote. I was just trying to keep it focused
Well, I
on
wanted to
people.
talk a little bit about what you're going to be doing.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I've got a platform. I got the best platform spot in the whole convention. I'm the first program after the keynote on Sunday morning. And this is how to price and market headshots. And so basically 15 years as a headshot specialist in photography, 20 years in the business. And I'm going to give you a breakdown, a Cliff's Notes version of all of the basics around how to price your headshot photography and how to market headshot photography. And that is going to be, and it's cool because it's Sunday morning, the first day, and nobody's hung over yet. So it's great. So people will get up in the morning. They're all excited on the first day.
And you're the first one they see.
I'm so excited. I'm really looking forward to it. This is like, you got to understand that like my specialty, when I was started in the specialty, there was nobody teaching it. And it largely wasn't considered a real genre by real photographers. It was generally considered to be something that everybody did a little bit of. And now it's like this massive genre that a lot of photographers can just do nothing but headshots. And so I think that I've talked to plenty of photographers who've even new photographers and photographers who've been in the business a long time that are looking to stop working nights and weekends. Because if you're a wedding and portrait photographer, you're a night and weekend photographer. You're having evening IPS. You're having weddings on Saturdays and Sundays, and you're shooting in the afternoons. And when my daughter was born, I was like, my oldest daughter was like, I got to get out of this night and weekend business. And so we completely shifted our business over to headshot photography, and it's been awesome ever since. And so my whole mission as an instructor is to basically teach portrait and wedding photographers how to stop working nights and weekends. So, and it's great. And I've just been really grateful. The PPA continues to let me get on stage and talk about this and help other photographers do that. And so I believe we have a good number of headshot programs. In fact, just to plug a pre-con class, my buddy Dave Kalmbach is coming all the way down from the frozen north of Canada to teach a full day on how to shoot headshots for teams and at events. And it's like, I got to tell you, I'm considered a subject matter expert in headshots, and Dave makes me look like I just started last week. Like, this guy knows his stuff, and I'm flying in a day earlier than I need to so that I can be in his class. And so
that's awesome. I remember
that's the class that I would take.
When you were on speaker selection committee and you brought his name up, and we were like, well, will he come from Canada?
Yeah. Who wouldn't want to leave Canada in January? That is like, like it's January. If you literally go to anybody in Canada in January, like, hey, do you want to come down? Yes. The answer is yes. I don't know where you were going to say, but
the answer is always yes.
Canada is a fantastic place. They've got healthcare. They've got mountains. They've got lots of incredible things. They've got a lot of people who speak French, but it's very, very cold. And so I'm sure they'd like to come down and visit Disney World or something, I
love it.
in January.
So I'm sure we have lots of questions. I'm going to tell you what we did when we set up our set for today. We didn't put the computer close enough where I could actually read the questions.
Oh, you know what, Lauren, if you throw those questions up again, I'll read them to Angela. That way she can.
And then
Okay, Ted says, what's the best way to look for a roommate at imaging?
What's the best way to look for a roommate at imaging? You can actually go on the Loop. And I think that people have been messaging in there about finding a roommate.
Is that, if you're in the Loop, that's PPA's forum. And there are whole threads there dedicated to finding non-serial killers to share a room with.
I love how I say that. I work here. I threw that to Gary, and he actually explains what the Loop is. Thanks, Gary.
Yeah, and the Loop also has an app, I think, that you can download onto your mobile device. In addition, there are there are Imaging USA groups on Facebook, and also don't forget, as Angela walked by earlier and showed you, there are a whole bunch of client experience experts over there that if you said, I want to come, I need someone to stay with, they'll probably have even more resources for you. So go to ppa.com and call that phone number, and you're going to get a dedicated, experienced customer service professional that will hook you up.
I love that you are so practiced at doing these lessons. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Yeah.
Any other questions, Gary?
Okay, Leanne says, there's so many awesome classes. How do I customize my schedule? Is there something online, Angela, where people can do that?
Yeah. So on the app, you can actually go into the Imaging USA app, and you can pick the classes that you want to go to ahead of time, and then it'll create a schedule for you so you know where you're going next.
That's awesome.
pretty
I
simple.
didn't even know that. I don't think I've ever used the app before. It didn't
Yeah.
exist when I started. So
It didn't. Yeah, it's new in the last few years.
yeah, back in the olden days, you just had to show up and wander around with like a map and
Paper.
a
We had paper. We had
magnifying
so much
glass.
paper.
Now
Truly.
it's all in the app. Download the Imaging USA app,
Yeah.
and you can message people through there and stuff. It's pretty rad.
Yep,
But you can
you
make your
can.
schedule and set it to alert you, and your classes are coming up, and it's got a map of the trade show floor, all the stuff that's in there. For those of you my age and older, an app is short for application. And if you have a mobile device, that's a cell phone, unless it's a jitterbug. You know, you can download from your various app stores. Just go ahead and go to apple.com, click on support. They'll teach you how to use the app store. For you Android users, I believe it's called the Google Play Store, if I'm not mistaken.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Gary.
no problem. You just go, what you should do is march right into your T-Mobile store and just harass the employees there. Okay.
I
Chris
love it.
Duncan says, when can we meet Gary face-to-face for a drink? I tell you what, buddy, you just get on a plane right now. I get off work in about 2.5 hours, and I'm all yours. How's that?
Hi, Chris. Glad you're watching. Chris is another one of our speakers at Imaging USA.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Favorite event at Imaging USA? Do you have a favorite event at Imaging USA, Angela? Is it when you get done for the day and you get to lay down?
Maybe. So I'm there Wednesday to Wednesday, and I love any of the things where I get to actually talk to people. You know, like have a real one-on-one conversation, because so much of my time is spent, you know, running and making sure everything's working and everything's okay. So for me, Networking Avenue is one of my favorites. The opening night party, the closing night party. I'm sensing a theme.
Like the parties. Yeah. I like that there's a moment when on the first full day, the Sunday, and there's a DJ there and they play music, and everybody's just got their coffee and they're wearing their cool photographer uniform, like their best shirt and jeans with like high boots and stuff. Like we're all looking cool with our bedazzled back pocket jeans and, you know, skulls embroidered into our shirts. We all just look like really cool photographers. But there's this moment when everybody starts to arrive around that central registration area, and there's music playing, and you can just feel the energy on that day one. And that is my favorite moment at Imaging USA every single year. But my favorite event, my absolute favorite event, is the award and degree ceremony. I think that just
that's true.
And I've had the opportunity to get degrees from PPA, and I've sponsored other photographers who've gotten those degrees. And like, I remember when I got my craftsman degree, and I think this was in Phoenix in 2014, and my wife was my sponsor, and I will never forget as long as I live. She put that thing over my head, and the big smile and pride and love on her face. And I was like crying like an idiot. It was awesome. But you get to see all of these photographers been working for, some of them, years on these accomplishments, and who have really, really dedicated themselves to improvement. And everybody gets dressed up, and everybody has a sponsor, and they put little messages on the screen for their, you know, if you haven't ever been to the award and degree ceremony, that's my absolute favorite thing at Imaging USA every time, because it's just, those are the people who are plugged in, who are working really hard, and just being recognized for their accomplishments. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I love that too. You're right.
I win.
You win. You win for like the most heartfelt. I'm like,
I like the booze. What I really like to do is go to the opening night party, find all my friends who I know don't drink, and then get their drink tickets off of them.
Oh,
and then,
well, now you just gave people a secret mission.
Yeah. If you have friends that aren't drink, or maybe somebody who's pregnant and not drinking, or maybe anybody you know who's like just trying to lose a couple of pounds, because I believe you get a drink ticket when you go in.
You do. Yeah.
You know, so then like you just find everybody, be like, hey, you gonna use that drink ticket, man? And then they're like, no, actually, no, I'm on keto, I can't. And so then you just collect. Last year I actually went home with extra drink tickets because I couldn't even use them all. You know, it was. That's awesome. Don't tell David. Don't tell Scott.
Because we're not live.
Don't tell David. Don't tell Scott. I didn't do that.
Well, I think our time is almost up. Before we go, and I unless there's more questions, let me just ask that. Gary, are there more questions
I
that we
don't
need to
see it
answer?
currently.
Okay, I think we're good. I am going to thank our team. This is our first event, so it was a lot to prep and get all of these things together. So I want to thank our camera person, Jamel DeCaceres. I'm going to ask him to come over here and put the camera on himself. And Elena, he's looking at me like I'm not dressed for this, but I'm going to make him do it anyway. Can you pick that camera up and turn it around? Lauren, would you put camera A on? We'll just add him to our screen. Thank you. And Elena is sneaking around the corner. This is our team. And you don't see Lauren unless Lauren will pop on just to say hello. I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Lauren, our producer. Thank you, Jamel and Elena. They are trying to turn the camera on. There they are. Yay. For helping me with this great project. You're going to see a lot more of them. They're going to be interviewing speakers coming up. So yeah, you guys, Mondays, 2:00, come back, join us, stay tuned. Lots of fun things coming ahead. We can't wait to see you. Gary, thank you so
No
much
problem.
for joining us. And for the rest of you, we look forward to seeing you at Imaging USA. Bye, guys.